my name is Kathryn. I'm the Director of Success Mindset and Results here at the Personal Trainers Business Bootcamp here in Hawaii. Today, I want to share with you some of the biggest mistakes that personal trainers make that sabotage their ability to create outstanding results with not only some of their clients, but all of their clients. The first mistake is that I have seen this constantly in gyms when I've actually been watching personal trainers, that they treat all of their clients the same. Now let's face it, we unconsciously, I don't know whether you know this or not, I certainly didn't until about 30 years ago when I started learning all of these things about learning styles. We unconsciously teach or train or coach in our preferred learning style. And guess what? 3/4 of your clients may not be your learning style. But we are teaching them the way that we like to learn. But guess what? It's not about how we like to learn, it's about how they learn best. Now, for example, when I'm working out with Brian or with Trent back in Australia, my personal trainer back there, if he shows me a particular exercise that I'm meant to be doing with a set of weights, if he just shows it to me, I'm not going to get it as well as if he's showing it to me. I'm standing next to him and I'm actually doing it with my body, because I'm not primarily a visual learner, I'm a kinesthetic learner. I'm going to talk more about this in a little while, but the biggest mistake I find is personal trainers are unconsciously running their training sessions based on their preferred learning style instead of their clients. Following on from that, you may not know why you're losing clients, and I'll bet part of it may well be that intuitively, we don't even know it consciously, but intuitively go, this person's just not the right fit for me. Have you ever met somebody and you just have instant rapport with them? And you go, wow, I feel like I've known this person for ages. Guess what? They are probably holding their body the way that you hold yours. They're probably using the same languaging that you use. So there's a whole lot of different learning styles that I'm going to share with you. And the first one today is an NLP-based one. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Neuro, our brain, linguistic, the language, and programming, so the way we program our brain. And in NLP, we have the different styles of learners, and they're called the different modalities. So there are the visual learners. Visual learners, as I mentioned a moment ago, have to be able to see what you're doing. And they'll be the sorts of people that if you're doing a group exercise class, for example, and they can't see because someone's standing in front of them, they're going to get really antsy. They've got to find a spot. And you know, we all have our favorite spot in the room. I don't know whether you've noticed as a teacher or a fitness coach, where they like to stand. And that will be the visuals, because they've got to be able to see you clearly. Then there are the auditory learners. Now they need to be able to hear you clearly. And if you use the same tone and talk like this all of the time, an auditory person is going to go, oh my God, this trainer is definitely not a good fit for me. An auditory person, as you can imagine, loves the melody in someone's voice. And they need to be able to hear really clearly if they're meant to be lifting the weight on 1, 2, and bending their legs, and then breathing out and going 3, 4. You need to be talking through the auditory side of it. Bend on 1, 2, stretch on 3, 4. Whereas a visual learner, you just have to show them and they'll get it because they're seeing what you're doing. So the auditory person needs to hear you, and they also need you to have range and tone and quality to your voice and not be monotone. The third style of learner is the kinesthetic learner. Moi. We are all of them, by the way, but there's one that is the key to jump-starting our car or our vehicle here, called our human body. A kinesthetic person has to use their body, as I mentioned before. If I only get shown something visually, if someone comes to fix my microwave or show me how to use some new-fangled technology, I can watch it, but can I actually do it when they go home and I try doing it on my own? Not unless I've actually physically done it with my body. And here's the thing. Kinesthetic learners have to feel good to learn. So you might have a kinesthetic learner that comes in and had a really lousy day. They are not going to have a successful training session unless you can get them into a more resourceful state. And you'll have to make that decision. Is it about sitting down and letting them go blah and going, okay, what is it you need to get off your chest? And something I used to do when I had my performing arts school, if that happened, was, okay, let's just talk about what we can put in a little box and tie it up with a ribbon and leave it outside of the studio, because it will be there when your session is over. But right now, I'd love you to be able to be in a resourceful state. What do you need to do? And they'll tell you. They might go, I need to just take a few breaths. I've had a really stressful day, or I need to go get a cup of tea, or I need a drink of water, or I just need to talk to you about it. But ultimately, they've got to feel good to do good. And that's the kinesthetics. The fourth style of learner that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's definitely a style of learner, is the auditory digital. Now, they're auditory, but the digital side means they do a lot of self-talk in their head. So if you ask an auditory digital person a question and they don't answer you, maybe they're answering it in their head. They're not necessarily going to go, oh yes, I agree. They might be saying yes in here. Auditory digital people actually are very, very, very interested in systems and structure. So if they come to your session and they feel like you haven't really had a well thought out planned session, you are not going to be the right fit for those people. So you're starting to see that there are all these various styles of learners out there that are your potential clients or your clients that you have right now. You need to find out what style of learner they are and start teaching them and coaching them in their learning style, not yours. Years ago, when I started doing competition work with my performing arts school, I was kind of quite confused because I used to take class with a whole lot of fabulous other dancers. And to be honest, I think they were better dancers than me in the studio. It's like they could dance rings around me. But as far as imparting that knowledge onto their students, I would see their work on stage and I go, that's weird. Like, they have a group on stage and maybe 3/4 of the group would know what they were doing and was quite tight, and the other quarter were all over the place. They had sloppy arms, or they were half a count behind, and I go, wow, I thought they were really, really good dancer. And yes, they were great dancers, but I'm guessing that the people that were on stage that were tight and had it together were the same learning style as the teacher. The kids that were all over the place were not. So this stuff really shows up, whether it's one-on-one training that you're doing or whether it's a group fitness class. I would love the opportunity in our Personal Trainers Business Bootcamp. We teach you how to assess all of your clients on so many different learning styles. This is just one of them, but it's a really important one. And there's a physiology that goes with each learning style, and then there's a language within the language. And we would love to teach you how to broaden your language so that you're getting your message across to every single client instead of just the ones that are your learning style. This tip, oh my goodness, I wish I could share this with the world, because if we actually remove this word from your language, you are going to get incredibly different results. It is the word that starts with, actually, I'm not going to tell you what the word is right now. I'm going to rewind for a moment and I'm going to demonstrate what the word is. Don't picture a pink elephant. Don't picture a pink elephant, and don't look down and see that it has a silver pair of tap shoes on. And don't look at its tail and see that it has a pink and purple polka dotted ribbon tied in a bow on the end of its tail. Don't picture that pink and purple polka dotted ribbon. It's almost like a tongue twister, isn't it? And don't picture that it has this huge big green Cirque du Soleil hat on with a fabulous big orange daisy. What happened? I bet you saw a pink elephant with silver tap shoes and a pink and purple polka dotted ribbon on its tail and a big Cirque du Soleil hat with an orange daisy. What was the one word that I said? I said, don't. Here's what happens unconsciously. When we say the word don't, our brain unconsciously is trying to work out within 100th of a millisecond, oh, what is it they don't want me to do? What is it they don't want me to do? Classic example of this, tiny child trying to be really, really grown up and carry a little glass of milk across to the table. And mum or dad say, don't spill the milk, don't spill the milk. And the child spills the milk. And the parents go, I told you not to spill the milk. Guess what? They didn't tell them not to spill it, they told them to spill the milk. And then they chastise the poor kid. Getting back to your clients, if you say to them, don't forget to bend your knees before you pick up the weight, all they're going to hear is, forget to bend your knees. So whatever follows the word don't is what they are going to do. So be really careful. From now on, we have a thing called our reticular activating system in our brain. Have you ever kind of thought, oh, I might buy a new white Mazda or something, and then all of a sudden you go out there and you notice all the white Mazdas on the road? I know it happened exactly to me. So this is our reticular activating system really working beautifully for us, because we started focusing on it, then it starts showing up in our lives. It's also the law of attraction, by the way. So when we actually start saying don't, then that's what our brain is going to do, okay? So we have to make sure that we're saying what it is we do want them to do. It's called directionalizing your language. It's like if you got a bow and arrow out and you wanted to hit a target over here, but instead of pulling out your bow and arrow that way, you're actually pulling it out this way and heading in the opposite direction. So your reticular activating system is going to start noticing every time that you say the word don't. And it's not about chastising yourself and going, oh my God, I used that word again. It's just about developing your awareness, because we can't change something until we're aware of it, right? So it's like a little set of antennas you're going to have up here, and you're going to start noticing when you use that word, and then just go, actually, let me rephrase that. What is it I do want you to do? So for example, don't forget. How many times do parents or coaches or people that are trying to sell us something on TV, don't forget to do whatever it is? Instead of that, it's one word that starts with R and ends in R. Can you think what it is? Remember. It's as simple as that. So directionalize your language to what you do want your clients to do.